Good morning. It's Thursday. And before I decided to do my blog, I thought I'm going to put on that vest I told him about yesterday. So is this not lovely? It's all furry, and I feel like I'm a bear, and it's cold here in the wild and wonderful West Virginia hills. And I kept on that shirt so you could see what the vest looked like. So this is what I wore yesterday. And that's why I need a big closet because furry vests aren't always in. But you know what? What if they come back? I don't want to lose it. I don't want to. So I have a big closet and I don't like clutter. So I decided that I would put a table in the center of my room, and I would mostly use my table for when I pack to go out of the country. So I can put a suitcase on this table that my laptop's on now on, and I have all my packing cube bags, which are wonderful. I'll do a YouTube on that one day on how to pack, how to be ready to go at an instant notice. Because before COVID, we were like, I would land and then take off, and then land and then take off. And so I would love to do that again. I'm the kind of person that really likes to travel. But anyway, this table is in the center of my office or my closet, and I keep my suitcase open. And then when I'm not going somewhere, I just close up my suitcase, set it inside my closet, and then I set up my computer on. So most of the time right now, because we're quarantined, this is my office space. And that way I don't have clutter like in living room books, because if you're a learner like I am, you're probably reading 3 or 4 books at one time. And so the 3 or 4 on the coffee table, maybe 1 or 2 on the dining room table. And see, when I walk into my house, I like everything to be put away. I like clean lines. Um, so that tells you a little bit more about my attachment type, right? Because I like to control my environment. And there are some things that are out of our control, like this pandemic, but not everything's out of your control. I mean, you can control who you worship. You can control when you worship. You can control how long you speak in tongues. You can control what daily devotion you use. And I pray you're using one. You can decide what journal you're going to use. You can decide where you're going to go eat. Not yet. I mean, we just finished our 10 days liquid fast, and we just started our 10 days Daniel. And so right now I baked some sweet potatoes, peeled them with a little bit of Himalayan salt, and topped my salad with it. So if you're craving something sweet right now during your Daniel fast, try some sweet potatoes with olive oil. They're really good. All right, now getting back to what we're talking about today. When you don't know your attachment type or you don't know your personality type, sometimes you can perform, and that becomes very tiring. And I can put a financial price on a performance. And I can say that performance is worth X amount of money, and that performance is not worth that amount of money. But I can't put a price on a person. And so in life, no one's looking for someone who performs. Everyone's looking for someone who is a real person, someone they can relate to. You know, I want to share a story with you that has really stuck with me. And it was about a man who was living alone in a big home with a huge picture window. And he was looking out, it was snowing, and it was absolutely beautiful. And as he went over to stir the fireplace, he heard this horrific bang on his front picture window. And when he went to see what it was, he saw it was a geese that had fallen in the snow and was struggling to get up. And then right before his eyes, there was a whole flock of geese that were falling in his front yard. The snow was coming down so fast, it had caught the geese off guard. I've been caught off guard. I know you have too. But when he saw the geese being caught off guard and the snow just plummeting them, he said, I've got to help them. And so he went and he took his light, he went out to the barn, he opened the barn doors as wide as he could, he put a light on in there, and then he ran back out to the geese and he began to shoo the geese into the barn. But the more he'd shoo them, the more he tried to push them to do the right thing, the more he tried to push them to save them, the more afraid they became. And the more they'd huddle down and the more they'd ignore him. You know, temperaments and personalities and attachment types are like that. You can't just push them to do what you want them to do. So the man in his lost state and his helplessness in getting these geese to the barn, he went out and he just knew that he couldn't do anything, and he hung his head, and at that moment, he heard church bells in the distance. As he was starting to say the prayer, "Father, I can't help them. Help me. If I could become one of them, I could lead them to safety." And this man who knew very little about Jesus as his Savior, at that moment got the epiphany that that's exactly what Jesus did. Jesus became one of us so that he could lead us to safety. That in life we will be plummeted. In life, storms will come. In life, we're called to soar, we're called to fly, but we can't always do it. Sometimes we fall. But Jesus became one of us so that he could help us get our wings back, go into shelter and find the peace, Emmanuel, to be able to become one of us to lead us to safety. So as we're studying these attributes of personality types and attachment types and all the things that I've made it my quest to learn this year, I hope that you're not just worrying about you, but you're worrying about who's following you. Put it this way, not concerned. I don't like the word worry. You're not concerned. You're not bombarded or weighed down with just finding out about you, but you're taking the opportunity to find out about others. So I can't bear to be back with you soon, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.